On today's episode of the Founder Ride, Randy talks about how to prepare to sell your business.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Founder Ride. I do appreciate you tuning in. I hope these videos help you along the way. And as I think about this next topic, one of the reasons why that probably ultimately, your goal is to sell the business. Some of you for sure are going to plan to pass it down to your children or sell it to your employees, but even that's still a sale. But most of you are probably going to sell the business to a third party. And so a very complicated topic is, when do you start that process? And so, again, in the history of when you start a business, you're in startup mode, you're just trying to get revenue in, you're trying to pay your bills, trying to support your lifestyle. But at some point, usually pretty quickly, and quickly is defined as 3 to 4, maybe 5 years, you get there, where the revenue is sustainable, profit sustainable, cash flow sustainable for the business itself and for your family. And then you go in this window of time where you just incrementally try to grow. And so oftentimes you really haven't drilled down on the quality of your financial statements, drilled down on what is next. And what I've learned over time is, I think that you always plan to build your business to sell, whether you do or don't. In my experience, over and over again, when you truly are building a business to sell, that business performs better, because what ends up happening is you improve the quality of your financial statements. You certainly improve your actual balance sheet. How much money do you have? How much money don't you have? How much money are you borrowing? It helps you with compensation planning for your people as well too. What are you paying people? What aren't you paying people? Because some buyers want to come in and buy you, and they're financial buyers, and they just want to get a return on their investment. Some buyers are strategic and want to come in, and they're going to keep most of the folks, but not keep some of the folks as well too, and plug in their operations and their financials people and their HR people, et cetera, et cetera. Regardless, I think when you adopt the lens, you're building the business to sell, you will build a better business, even if you never sell it. And candidly, if you do choose to sell it to your employees in the form of an ESOP, or even sell it to your children in some family gifting strategy, both parties are better off when you do that. And so the other piece too, I think as time goes on, when you're building a business to sell, you're going to grow faster. You're going to grow faster. You're going to grow better. It'll force you to be more strategic sooner in your business as well. One topic that drives me absolutely crazy is, don't get hung up on valuations. I have so many clients that over the years that they go spend a bunch of money and they go talk to people who value the business. And business valuations are very important in a divorce. They're important in a death. They're important if you have employee stock option plans or things like that. You have to do what's called a 409A valuation every year. It's paper valuations. The only value that matters is what the market pays for the business. And you don't know what the market pays for the business until you take it to market. So one of the things to think about as you're building your business to sell, at some point it may be worthwhile, and it's a total distraction, is to test the market. What is the business worth today? If you get that far, please call me, because it's very, very emotional. It's very complicated. However, if you don't sell the business, you get lots and lots of feedback. So earlier this year, we had a client who, I wish he wouldn't have done it, but he did. He took this business out to market. An investment banking firm said he could sell for $200 million. I knew there was no way he'd get anywhere near that. Took it to market, and I think the best offer we got was $85 million, which is certainly a good offer, but with the way the company was capitalized and the investors, it was never going to be enough money for our client, the entrepreneur, to live the life he wanted to live. However, through that process, he got lots and lots and lots and lots of feedback. So it was a brutal's an understatement, candidly, brutal 6, 7, 8 months of being involved in the process. And once we made a decision not to sell it and pull it off the market, we had tons of great information though. So it's not something you do every year, that's for sure. And if you did, you'd burn the market out, and no investment banker would ever talk to you. But once in a blue moon to test the value and get feedback is probably worth it. And from there, again, you'll be able to build a better business to sell when you're ready to sell it, if you ever do. So one last thing on this topic. even though, how do I want to say this? Even though you should build the business to sell, you as the entrepreneur, if you're pretty far away from it emotionally, just don't think about it. And that's like where I am, when in my 30s and 40s, I said, I'm not even going to think about selling my business until I turn 50. I turned 50 and I thought about it. I'm like, really not ready for it. So I punted again to age 60. Well, I'm 57 now, and I'm already punting to 65 or 70. I'm so far away emotionally from selling the business. We're still building it to be sold, but I don't let myself think about the process. I don't let myself think about what it would be like, because I'm not interested in it. And so it's a kind of a crazy combination of two dynamics, but a really important one, because if you're stuck in what does it feel like selling all the time, it becomes a distraction, and you're going to potentially test the market and waste your time unless you really, really want that feedback. So big topic, complicated topic. Oh yeah, one more thing on this. You have to be careful how you communicate this to your employees too. I think it's important to say we're building the business to sell, but I really have no intention. Because if you start saying we're building the business to sell and I might, then the employees start asking themselves, where do I fit in this equation, or do I fit in this equation? So culture is important, as you've heard me talk about before, so managing that's really important as well. Complicated, love to talk to you about it. Have a great day, and thanks again for listening to another episode of The Founder Ride.